सर व्हेन यू
तो
आस्किंग मी
इसीलिए हो
लाइंस
जाती है
फ्रॉम
अपने आप
पोएम्स
में।
आल्सो, मुझे ऐसे लाइंस इमीडिएटली याद नहीं आ रहे हैं, तो आई विल गो
नहीं नहीं,
थ्रू
देखिए
द पोएम्स।
आईएएस
बट
इंटरव्यू में वो लाइंस नहीं पूछेंगे। लाइंस तभी पूछता है कोई, मैं बता रहा हूँ, लाइंस
हाँ
तभी
सर।
पूछेंगे जब उन वर्ड में से कोई इंग्लिश का होगा। Okay, welcome to OSN Academy, and
थैंक यू।
Suva, after a long time, I think we are here,
यस
and
सर।
for a great purpose. And I'm so happy that you are going to take your interview on 6th of April. Am I right?
यस सर। यस सर।
Yeah, fine. So I just want that we have a brief communication so that you may be able to have a good background over your communication or whatever is going to happen with you on 6th of April. So it is just
यस सर।
a communication. So I would just like to have a brief introduction with you, please.
Yes, sir. So my name is Suva Snigdha Sethi. I was born and brought up in Odisha and have completed most of my education there itself. I got a BA degree in English literature from Ravenshaw University, after which I got my master's degree from Delhi University. I went back home and started preparing for civil services examination and got through the state administrative services. I have been serving as deputy collector Noyagarh district in Odisha at the moment.
Okay. So how many years of your as a DC?
So almost 2 years now.
Almost 2 years. So
Yes, sir.
as a state PCS officer and after becoming a DC, so this journey with yourself as an officer and completing this IS examination. So how could you prepare this examination with that intensity? Because being a government official, it is so tough,
Yes, sir.
and being a girl at your post. So how did you manage that thing?
So most of my serious studying had actually been done before I got into the service. We had 1 year of training as well, which wasn't as intense as the posting is.
Uh-huh.
So I got some time then. And now it is mostly after office hours, however many hours I can make the best of.
Okay. So generally you used to study after the office hours.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what is your family background, Suva?
So, sir, my father is a retired chief engineer from Odisha Hydropower Corporation, and my
Okay.
mother is a homemaker. I have one elder
Okay.
brother who's in the merchant navy.
Okay. So, what was the time when you had planned that you would like to become an IAS officer? What was that stage? Matlab your year or your uh, 12th or your BA or your. So, when did you plan exactly? When that seed germed in your mind that I have to be nothing but an IAS or PCS?
So, to be very honest, it was during my master's in Delhi itself, because you stay in Delhi,
Okay.
you be in the environment where people
Yes.
are doing it seriously. The seed had been planted
Yes.
by my father itself during my school
Okay.
years, when he said you
Mm-hmm.
should try to take the administrative services because it is such a coveted service. So it was
Yes.
there,
Yes.
but the real preparation started after MA itself.
Okay. Do you remember one thing when I spoke to you first? I had that premonition when I had communicated with you that if you just follow this thing, you might qualify the mains. Do you remember?
Yes, sir.
Telephonically, I think I had told you that thing. And
Yes,
I
sir, you
got this
had.
news, yeah, in Mumbai that you have
Yes,
qualified.
sir.
So, what was your strategy of designing your English literature and qualifying the mains exactly from pre to mains? How do you design your course? This is a very relevant
So
question which I would like to.
yes, sir. So I have a background in English literature. So most of the course had been covered in my BA and MA years. So it was easier for me to take the novels up and do background studying again. So I started
Mhm.
preparing the notes afresh, because
Mhm.
UPSC questions are unlike the ones that we face in our degree
Exactly,
examinations.
exactly. It is
So
unlike, yes, yes.
yes, sir. So that is why I started preparing notes for all the novels and poems and plays separately, keeping in mind all the
Mm-hmm.
questions, previous year questions that were already there.
Okay.
Yes.
So this means ki you found it easy as a postgraduate.
Yes,
If
sir.
I
Because I
if
had,
I tell you the
yes,
exact if I tell you the exact situation right now, there are doctors, there are engineers, and
yes,
there
sir.
are other special fields of students who are presently in my batch of 2024. There is a
Yes, sir.
doctor, she is an MBBS doctor from Hyderabad, and she has taken
Yes, sir.
English literature. There are many
Yes,
engineers
sir.
also who have taken English literature. So,
Yes,
do
sir.
you think that they will be able to fertile themselves easily compared to a MA English student? Because I have seen students qualifying without English literature as their subject.
Yes, sir. It can be done, sir. It is not an very difficult task, because if you have the interest in studying literature, half the work is done there itself. Because once you have a good knowledge of the novel and poetry and the plays, you can depend on the story or the plot in the novel to write half your answer. But the other half will have to come from the background studying, which comes from history of English literature
Yes,
and
I
literary
always
terms
tell my
and all that.
students that there should be one thing which is very important for English literature students, whether you are engineer or doctor, that
Yes.
interest, that
Yes,
feel
sir.
of literature has to be there. Otherwise,
Yes, sir.
this subject is very different from other subjects. तो
Yes, sir.
आपको लिटरेचर में होना पड़ता है. You have to be a literature में student. You have to involve yourself
Yes, sir.
with
Yes, sir.
poets, with dramatists, with novelists, and you cannot mug up so
Yes,
many
sir.
things all the time. So it is the
No, sir.
interest, it is
When,
the
yes, sir.
in heart which comes out. Now, my very good question is that what difference it makes with a mentorship regarding yourself or regarding all those students who are studying self-study and those who are getting mentorship? What difference you feel it makes?
Yes, sir. So with mentorship, actually, for example, when I had written answers, there were some many seminal points that were missing, which you had actually pointed out. And when you pointed out those points, I could clearly see that I was missing very important points in the answer. So I think that is the importance of getting a second perspective, and that too from educators who have been in this field for a very long time. So, for example, for a very simple answer like pantheism in Wordsworth, I had not
Yes,
gotten the
yes.
crux of the matter, and you had pointed it out. So I realized it immediately, the need for someone else to check my answers to see what I am missing actually.
Yes,
So
yes, I had
that is
written a lot
important.
of remarks when you
Yes,
had
sir.
sent me your copies. Yeah, I still
Yes.
remember. I had given a lot of time and remarking at how you
Yes,
have,
sir.
but your
Yes,
your
sir.
your your answers were well written, well formed. So how did the test series or the classes or the content helped you in qualifying this mains?
Yes, sir. Actually, the books that you had given me also have very succinct summaries of poets and the writers and authors and novels. And the best part was actually that everything was at one place, because otherwise, most of the time, one is looking for material over a very scattered form on the internet. So, actually, to have all of it at one place was a really good thing.
What was your percentage growth, Suva? Percentage growth in terms of before getting mentorship and after getting mentorship. मतलब आपको कहीं ना कहीं ऐसा लगता है कि this mentorship, if I have not have got, then maybe something was missing. 20% you jumped, 50% you
Yes,
jumped.
sir. The
So
percentage I won't be
any
able to
calculation
give.
of the
Yes, sir.
it
But
is
sir,
just a rough
definitely
idea.
that, for example, I can put it this way. If I was writing, say for a 10 mark, I was writing 4 points, then after getting your points, I could see
Yeah.
that there are 8 points to this answer, and I could include
Yes.
more in this answer and to make it
Which
even better.
automatically enhances your
So,
marks in front of the
yes, sir.
examiner.
So that was very
Hmm.
helpful. Yes, sir.
A very relevant question once again. Why did you choose English literature? Only because of MA English? Because there are many MA English students who have taken geography, sociology,
Yes,
and
sir.
I have been communicating with lot many students in India who have postgraduate in English, but they are opting for other subjects. What is the reason
Yes,
behind it?
sir. So when I was first looking to pick an optional, the best advice that I got was pick an optional which you can study without getting tired of it. And I think for me, literature is
Hmm.
the subject. I'm happy when I'm studying literature. So there was
Hmm.
no question of me going elsewhere. Even I had other subjects in mind, but I came back to literature once I realized my heart was here.
For you,
So
it is an open and shut case. Yeah, it became an open and
yes, sir.
shut case. But there are innumerable students who are not able to opt for
Yes,
English
sir.
literature. There are many
Yes,
reasons to
sir.
it. I think the communication gap, or if you search UPSC mains optional teachers, you will find
Yes, sir.
dearth of people.
Definitely. So
That is the
even
main
you,
reason.
I found after searching on Google, I was looking for educators, and then I just came across your academy, and I said I should take a chance because this is a big exam. So, and
I'm
I'm
so
glad
happy
I did
that
so.
you are here and I don't have any, matlab, anything that makes me feel that you will come out with you will come out with flying colors. Matlab, there is no options. If I as a
I hope
professor
so.
are there and you as a candidate, so I don't find anything which can miss your marks. Any
Yes.
drawback which you felt while studying and you could overcome that drawback while studying your
Uh,
mains or your pre.
Sir, I think it would mostly be to find these relevant points and not knowing that if I'm missing any or so, like that. There were notes that were missing basically. There are not a lot of resources on the internet in the first place. And my BAMA resources also are adequate to a certain point. They will not cater completely to the questions that UPSC is asking. So that is how I
Mhm.
think one has to be involved in making notes and covering all the perspectives to not miss any question
Hmm.
in UPSC.
One more question comes to my mind that how can we explain the disillusionment in the wasteland? How do you how do you relate the wasteland to today's world? Is it a
So the
modern
wasteland,
poem with the wasteland?
yes, sir. So, sir,
Uh,
can you hear me, sir? I got a call actually, so it
yeah.
got disconnected.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah.
So, the modern age poetry is more about how wars have left the world barren and people have been
Mm-hmm.
left hopeless in despair. So, so long as we are taking that into consideration, I think the wasteland is offering us a picture of what the world looks in devastation. And by the end of it, it also tells us that spirituality, through modern ideas, through poetry, we can seek to revive this civilization of ours. And not all is hopeless, I would say.
So, do you think that the wasteland of that age, by T.S. Eliot has written, we find a lot of disillusionment in today's world, and that too, the poetry is so rightly written by T.S. Eliot.
So the disillusionment actually stems from the feeling of alienation because of the wars and because of a loss of familiar life as such. More and
Mm-hmm.
more that we become individualistic and go away from the family as we are doing in the current age. I think that disillusionment also sets in us as well. So T.S. Eliot has very aptly portrayed the absence of, I would say, hope in the modern age through
Mm-hmm.
his decadence that he portrays, the dirt, the filth that lies all around, I would say, his country. And to see that England as a wasteland during that time, I wouldn't say that we are at a place where we are completely in a state of despair, but so also to feel that on a personal level might be possible in a fast paced world that we live in.
Very good. How can you relate it with metaphysical elements? Because you must be knowing that T.S. Eliot was a great lover of John Donne, and he has related
Yes,
his
sir.
poems with metaphysical elements. So, do you find that metaphysics in the wasteland?
So, metaphysical poetry appreciated by Eliot was because metaphysical poets used wit and emotion to bring
Hmm.
about very stark ideas and expressed difficulty. And that was something
Hmm.
that Eliot appreciated. So, T.S. Eliot has made The Wasteland difficult as a poem by giving myriad references from very different sources. And he brings about these references and sources as his wit to show the emotions of despair and destruction that is prevalent in his age. So it could be read as a metaphysical trait.
Yeah, yeah. Have you heard of about any African literature poets? Though it is not in
African
your
literature
course, but
poetry.
in your MA you might have heard about African literature.
So we did study Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. It's a novel,
Yeah,
not a
yeah,
poem. So
yeah,
yes,
yeah. So you have read only Chinua Achebe. Have you heard the
yes,
name
sir.
of Bessie Head, MS Totola, Will Soinka, Nadim Godimar,
So I've heard about Gadamer and Soenka, but I haven't come across
Soinka?
any texts of theirs. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, okay. So these
Yes,
are the world top rankers
yes, sir.
authors of Black literature.
African literature. Yes, sir.
So okay, okay. My two more questions. What do you understand by the term Victorian compromise?
Um, so I haven't actually come across this term, but going from my idea of Victorian poetry, Victorian
Yeah.
compromise must mean how an individual has to tread the line when it comes to morality in the Victorian society, if I'm not wrong,
नो,
but
इट इज
I'm not
अबाउट
very sure.
कॉम्प्रोमाइज का मतलब हिंदी में क्या होता है? कॉम्प्रोमाइज का मतलब हिंदी में क्या
समझौता,
होता है? ये
समझौता.
तो
Yes.
Victorian compromise was a compromise between science and religion,
Okay, sir.
between
Okay.
industrialization
Yes.
and yeah, and non-industrialization.
Okay, sir.
So there was a
Okay, sir.
lot
Okay.
more difference in that Victorian age. क्योंकि एक तरफ
Okay,
तो
sir.
डार्विन की थ्योरी थी, एक तरफ डार्विन की थ्योरी थी,
Yes.
एक तरफ
Yes,
साइंटिफिक
sir.
एज था, तो थ्योरी
Yes,
ऑफ
sir.
एवोल्यूशन, और एक तरफ साइंस, एक तरफ रिलीजन, एक तरफ ये, एक तरफ इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन, एक तरफ मशीनाइजेशन. तो इट
Yes,
वाज अ
sir.
कॉम्प्रोमाइज. तो विक्टोरियंस ने
Okay.
कहा कि हमें मिड वे चलना है, तो दे मेड अ कॉम्प्रोमाइज.
Okay, sir.
फाइन.
Yes.
So
Yes, sir.
my last question is, what is the scenario as far as the politicalization of India is concerned? What do you find? Where do you find yourself fit as far as the politics of India is concerned, and our bureaucrats, they find it very difficult in the today's condition. You might have seen so many IAS officers being transferred here and there,
Yes,
and
sir.
being an IAS officer, such a coveted post in India, and you have to lean with in front of ministers and this and that. So, what do you comment on
Yes,
this?
sir.
This is a question which I find it very relevant.
So
So, मतलब
actually,
IAS
I don't
officer
know
and
where from,
politics.
but this, yes, sir. So, Sir Tennyson's lines come into mind. Men may come and men may go, but I go on forever. So I believe that
Yes,
the governments will come and go. Bureaucracy is the permanent executive, and it needs to stay correct, and it needs to work in the interest of the people, because the government may change tomorrow, but we will always be responsible to the general public. So that is the idea that needs to be kept in mind.
ultimately, you can say that IAS are the best managers.
Yes, sir.
They have to manage, and they
They
have been
have to
managing
manage,
past
sir.
70 years. So whether
Yes,
it is
sir.
any politics, whether it is any government, it is only the IAS who has to manage everything, because even the
Yes,
ministers or
sir.
even the PM, CM, they listen to the IAS only. Ultimately,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
ultimately you are the planners. So
Yes,
whatever
sir.
you plan, they have to see, they have to listen. So that is the
Yes,
way it
sir.
goes out. So it was very good, and I'm really
Mm.
very happy to have this session wherein I really feel that there is no point where you can get any less marks, और मैं कहाँ पे number काटूं, I don't find it anyway. Moreover, I
Mm.
must not have asked questions on various other topics which your
Yes,
interview
sir.
board will be asking.
Yes,
Fine.
sir.
Moreover, in
Yes, sir.
the politics region, in so many other regions of the pre,
Yes, sir.
because I am sure with this interview that you have all the capabilities to answer all those questions too. So my final question is that uh, uh, where do you find yourself today, and where do you find yourself after 10 years?
So at this point, I'm happy being a working individual,
Hmm.
independent,
Hmm.
having the power to make my own decisions. I hope
Correct.
10 years later, I have grown into a person who is
Hmm.
happy wherever she is. And I want to develop spiritually as well, so that I can easily let go of disappointments, because there will be disappointments in life, and then move on with a positive attitude. So I would hope
That
that
is a very good thing which you
that
said,
comes
that there will
easy.
be disappointments always in life, and for that you
Yes,
have
sir.
to face meditation. And मैं
Yes, sir.
उसी में बताऊं आपको that we also do meditation of योगानंद जी. तो
Okay, sir.
मार्ग कोई भी हो, गुरु आपका कोई भी हो, रास्ता वही पहुंचाता है. So it is
Yes,
it
sir.
is it is just कि आप किसको फॉलो करते हैं, and it actually gives you peace and good work.
Yes, sir.
So anything would you like to ask, or I'm okay with it now? You just study 3-4 pages. क्योंकि क्या
Okay,
होता
sir.
है कि अगर लिंग्विस्टिक्स में उन्होंने पूछा भी ना कुछ, तो हार्डली यू विल बी हैविंग 30 seconds or 1 minute to answer it.
Yes,
So
sir.
whatever they are going to ask, you will manage it if you have some summary of it in your mind.
Okay, sir.
Fine. Otherwise, वो आपसे
Yes,
ये भी
sir.
पूछ सकते हैं कि do you even plan to go for doctorate?
Yes, sir.
Because there are many IAS officers who also do
Yes, sir.
PhD in future.
Yes,
तो
sir.
सपोज अगर
Yes,
आपसे
sir.
पूछते हैं तो आप रेडी रहिएगा बताने के लिए. कि अगर
ठीक
आप
है सर।
मतलब वो वैसे ही पूछ सकते हैं जस्ट फॉर द सेक ऑफ फन। एंड
यस सर।
अगर आपने कहा यस, तो यू विल हैव टू टेल दैट विच ऑथर यू हैव चोजन, व्हाट
एरिया।
टॉपिक वुड यू लाइक
यस
टू
सर।
गो फॉर,
यस सर।
व्हाट टॉपिक। तो आप कोई भी चीज आंसर करने से पहले ये याद रखिएगा कि उसका नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन तुरंत आपके पास आ
फॉलो
जाएगा।
अप्स। जी सर।
तो नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन और नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन के लिए रेडी रहिएगा, देन यू गिव दैट आंसर। फाइन, सपोज कीट्स अगर आपका पसंदीदा है तो सेकंड क्वेश्चन आएगा, द नेम द पोएम। जैसे ही आपने पोएम का नाम बताया, आपसे पूछ लेंगे गिव सम लाइंस। जब आपसे लाइंस पूछ लेंगे तो कहेंगे एक्सप्लेन।
यस सर।
तो इट इज अ सीरीज ऑफ क्वेश्चन, आपने देखा भी होगा बोर्ड में।
सर व्हेन यू
तो
आस्किंग मी
सीरीज हो
लाइंस
जाती है
फ्रॉम
अपने आप
पोएम्स
में।
आल्सो, मुझे ऐसे लाइंस इमीडिएटली याद नहीं आ रहे हैं, तो आई विल
नहीं
गो
नहीं,
थ्रू
देखिए
द
आईएएस में,
पोएम्स।
आईएएस
बट
इंटरव्यू में वो लाइंस नहीं पूछेंगे।
आई
लाइंस
होप सो।
तभी पूछता है कोई, मैं बता रहा हूँ, लाइंस
हाँ
तभी
सर।
पूछेंगे जब उन वर्ड में से कोई इंग्लिश का होगा।
ओके।
अगर कोई मेंबर, जैसे हमारे गुरु थे,
हाँ सर।
वो ही वॉज प्रोफेसर हेड ऑफ द डिपार्टमेंट यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ इलाहाबाद, ही इज अ इंटरनेशनल फिगर, उनका नाम है डॉक्टर केजी श्रीवास्तव।
जी
So
सर।
when he used to be in the interview board, he was very fond of asking students, give me some a few lines of Tennyson, of Keats, of Wordsworth. तो आप क्या करिएगा,
यस
दो
सर।
चार लाइन किसी भी एक पोएम की याद कर लीजिएगा। ब्यूटी
हाँ
इज
हाँ
ट्रूथ
सर।
एंड ट्रूथ इज ब्यूटी, वो वाली लाइन है कीट्स की, अ थिंग ऑफ ब्यूटी इज अ जॉय
कीप
फॉर
सर।
एवर।
यस
तो
सर।
कुछ एलेक्जेंडर पोप की लाइन आपने याद कर ली। इस तरह से
यस
वन वन
सर।
लाइनर्स नहीं होती है जो, कुछ वन वन लाइनर्स तो
यस
आप
सर।
रख लीजिएगा दिमाग में। बाकी
ठीक है।
आखिर में मैं ये बता दूं कि इंटरव्यू इज सक्सेसफुल when you manage the interview. Now, how the
यस सर।
student manages the interview, I'll tell you. क्या होता है कि जब उधर से क्वेश्चन आता है, तो क्वेश्चन का आंसर अगर मेरे पास पहले प्रिपेयर्ड है तो आई मोल्ड द आंसर।
यस।
जैसे अगर किसी ने पूछा कि डू यू नो समथिंग अबाउट अमेरिकन लिटरेचर, तो आप इमीडिएट क्या बोलेंगे? अगर आपने नहीं बोला एज अ स्कॉलर ऑफ लिटरेचर, देन उनको लगेगा बताओ आप तो एमए इंग्लिश भी है, आपने ये भी किया, आपने ये
यस।
भी किया है, आप किसका नाम लेंगे
हाँ
अमेरिकन
सर।
लिटरेचर में?
सर
व्हाट नेम इज कमिंग इमीडिएटली?
वॉल्ट
पहला नाम
विटमैन।
आपको नाम क्या याद आ रहा है? वॉल्ट विटमैन, यस।
वॉल्ट विटमैन।
एंड वॉल्ट विटमैन इज द फादर ऑफ अमेरिकन पोइट्री।
यस सर।
तो हम अगर बैठे होंगे तो मैं तुरंत आपसे पूछूंगा कि इसकी एपिकल पोएम का नाम बताइए। लीव्स ऑफ
लीव्स
ग्रास।
ऑफ ग्रास। यस।
लीव्स ऑफ ग्रास।
यस।
यू विल गेट फुल पॉइंट। तो उनका
ओके
क्वेश्चन
सर।
आने से क्या होता है कि यू मैनेज द शो।
यस सर।
तो यू हैव टू जस्ट मैनेज द शो एज पर देयर लाइकिंग्स। और आप,
ठीक है सर।
आपकी जो आंख, आपकी जो आई विजन है, वो पांचों को देखनी चाहिए ऐसे, like this.
ठीक है सर।
When
यस
a
सर।
person is asking here, so you just move in here, but when you are answering it, you see that person
यस।
also, and little bit you see them also.
यस सर।
Not only concentrating on one professor, but little bit here and then there.
यस सर।
And be smiling. Always have a smiling face. And what
यस।
clothes you are wearing? It will be an executive dress or a Indian traditional dress?
सारी सर। आई एम वेयरिंग अ साड़ी।
Sari set. Then it's okay. Color will be light,
ग्रे सर।
light color. Yeah, gray color is okay.
ग्रे सर। यस सर। यस।
Gray color, I think is worn by the people who have, matlab, more aged. Am I right?
Yes sir, but that is the one that I've picked, so.
So got my point. Now, any questions?
So just one more. For example, the wasteland always keeps coming up in questions. So I will take another look and study wasteland. Are there any other popular poems that even if a person does not belong to our
See,
background, they might ask?
yeah, T.S. Eliot is good, and
Yes, sir.
Tennyson, Wordsworth.
Yes, sir.
Wordsworth को जरूर करिएगा।
जी
और
सर। आई एम बैंकिंग ऑन
अमेरिकन
वर्ड्सवर्थ
में
सर, अगर पूछा तो।
देखिए ऐसा करिएगा, टू गिव मोर emphasis दैट यू आर अ लर्नेड स्कॉलर ऑफ इंग्लिश।
यस
सपोज
सर।
इंग्लिश में क्वेश्चन तो होगा ही होगा, अगर नहीं होता
डेफिनेटली।
है तो वो आपकी मतलब बहुत ताजुब की बात होगी, अदरवाइज होगा ही होगा। तो whenever you get a chance to answer in English literature, अगर क्वेश्चन पूछ लेते हैं तो आप ऐसे कह सकती हैं कि सर मैम, आई हैव रेड अ लॉट ऑफ लिटरेचर ड्यूरिंग माय एमए डेज, as well as the course content of IS syllabus is also too vast to comprehend, because we study 60 poems, we study dramas, novels, poems,
यस
poets
सर।
of all the entire world. In spite of my coverage of my English literature course, I have also read American literature, I have also read Indian literature, I have also read African literature, which has
यस
made
सर।
my coverage strong because I really love literature a lot. So had I would be given the chance, I would even go for higher studies for PhD. मतलब अगर मुझे मौका
Yes, sir.
मिलता तो मैं उसके लिए भी जाता. But because I got into the government as a research officer, so it was my dream come true to be an IAS and to serve my nation. तो ऐसे उनको ये बता दिया आपने. नाउ अब उनके ऊपर आपने पासा फेंक दिया कि नाउ दे कैन आस्क कि आपने अमेरिकन में क्या पढ़ा है. तो जैसे अमेरिकन आपने
Yes,
बोला,
sir.
आपने वेटमैन बोल दिया. अफ्रीकन बोला आपने, चीन चीबे बोला, नादिम गौदिमर बोला, गोल सोइनका बोला, बेसी हेड बोला, एम एस टोटोला बोला. और इनमें से नोबेल प्राइज विनर्स भी हैं, नादिम गौदिमर भी है और आपके गोल सोइनका
Yes.
भी हैं. चीन
Also,
चीबे का
yeah.
तो खैर कोई मुकाबला ही नहीं है. चीन चीबे का आपने पढ़ा होगा, थिंग्स फॉल अपार्ट,
Yes, sir.
है ना. तो ऐसे कर सकती है.
जी.
वेस्टलैंड का डिसइल्यूजनमेंट पढ़ लीजिएगा, थोड़ा सा अच्छा लगेगा.
जी.
प्लस एक और पोएम पढ़ लीजिएगा, एक ऑथर पढ़ लीजिएगा, मिल्टन.
हाँ
यस आई
सर.
नो स्पेंसर नहीं है. स्पेंसर का केवल टू लाइनर्स पढ़ लीजिएगा. हु इज स्पेंसर.
ठीक. ओ,
क्योंकि
हाँ हाँ
स्पेंसर
सर,
क्या है,
16th सेंचुरी. यस,
स्पेंसर
हाँ.
क्या है,
बिगिनिंग ऑफ
ही इज द
एलिजाबेथन.
ओनली ही इज द ओनली पर्सन इन द एंटायर वर्ल्ड हु इज नोन एज अ पोएट. दो
ओके.
चौसर में भी द फादर ऑफ इंग्लिश लिटरेचर, बट
यस.
स्पेंसर इज नॉट द फादर ऑफ इंग्लिश लिटरेचर, जबकि चौसर से कहीं ज्यादा वो गुणी है. ही इज अ पोएट. व्हाई ही इज अ पोएट, ये कभी कभी पूछ सकते हैं. तो चलिए, बहुत अच्छा लगा सुबह. और
जी सर.
दिल से आपको आशीर्वाद, बेस्ट विशेष
थैंक यू.
और बेस्ट ऑफ लक हमारे पूरे
थैंक यू सर.
ओएसएन फैमिली से और हमारे तरफ से. हमें उम्मीद है कि आप 6 तारीख को जब इंटरव्यू से बाहर आएंगी तो एक बार जरूर से मुझे कॉल या व्हाट्सएप करिएगा.
जी सर. जी सर. डेफिनेटली.
और ढेर सारी शुभकामनाएं, ढेर सारी ब्लेसिंग्स. और मुझे
थैंक.
उम्मीद है कि मुझे आपसे मिलने का मौका भी मिलेगा और आपसे मिठाई भी खाएंगे और पार्टी भी करेंगे.
होपफुली
ठीक
सर.
है. आई पर्सनली आई एम वेरी होपफुल.
ओके सर. आई होप सो इट
ठीक
वर्क्स
है.
आउट. यस सर.